Hey everyone, Tactics here, back with more War Within hero talent trees, where we have the second Guardian Druid tree to look at here in Druid of the Claw. Just like with my other videos, I am going to be focusing on the tree from a tank's perspective, so in this case Guardian, as that's kind of my main role here and what I have experience in, so sorry in advance Feral Druids. I will be covering the rest of the tank specs, their trees in this drop, which has like 12 trees, so a lot to cover here, so be on the lookout for those. And I also have the tank tree coverage from the previous drops as well, so make sure you are subscribed to my channel and you go and check those out. Otherwise, let's just get right into it, shall we? So the big trait here we're getting is massive attack. So your auto attacks here have a chance to make your next ferocious bite or maul become a massive attack. This massive attack for Guardian Druids here, it's slash through your target in a wide arc, dealing physical damage to your target and additional damage to all other enemies in front of you. So it's a big AoE attached to Maul and presumably also Raise. It's not mentioned in here, but I'm going to assume because everything that affects Maul also affects Raise. So just basically a big prio target damage as well as some AoE damage coming. So, okay, it's a big hit. It's kind of following the, I guess, idea, not fully, I guess, but kind of similar to Templar, where it's not actually giving you a new button. It's just adjusting how one of your buttons works. So that's nice. Moving down here, maximum energy and rage increased by 20. Okay. Frenzied regen also increases your max health by 10%. Okay. It's a nice passive note, I guess. It's not doing a ton, but, you know, there it is. Dreadful wound. Okay. Massive attack also inflicts a bleed that causes additional damage over 6 seconds and saps its victim's strength, reducing damage they deal to you by 5%. Dreadful wound is not affected by... Okay, so it's not going to get decreased here in duration. So we don't know the proc rate of this, right? This is the one kind of question mark. So I'm going to doubt this is going to be at like 100% uptime. But who knows? I mean, it's a pretty short dot. It's just going to be attached to your Maul or presumably Raise, which you're going to be pressing, you know, often, quite often. So it's a nice little layer of DR, I would say, for Guardian Druid. That's not going to be, you know, massive and game changing, right? Side here, Maul and Raise deal 10% increased damage. Okay, pretty straightforward. More damage. Down here, Wild Shape Mastery, Iron Fur and Frenzied Regen persist in cat form. Okay. While transforming to cat form, or from bear to cat form, sorry, you retain 80% of your bear form armor and health. And for 6 seconds after entering bear form, you heal for 10% damage taken. Okay, wow. So you can now catweave while tanking a boss. Okay, I need to see the rest of this, but this makes like a big thing, maybe like Tiger Dash, for example. Like the Tiger Dash was really restrictive as a Guardian Druid, even though it's nice to have because you couldn't be taking damage at the same time or heavy damage at the same time because you shifted into cat form. If you're able to Iron for a Frenzied Regen in cat form and you maintain 80% of your health and armor, you all of a sudden can now tank bosses even in cat form. Like, not even just Tiger Dash away from things when it's useful. You can actually tank bosses now in cat form, that's crazy. We'll see if you get more benefits to being in cat form later on in the tree, but that is really cool. That is really cool from a Guardian perspective anyway. That's really cool. All right, choice note in the middle here. Massive attack increases your auto attack speed by 20% for 6 seconds. So this is very good. Guardian actually has now, especially with this being off auto attacks, very good auto attack synergy. So anything that increases their ability to auto attack is going to be quite valuable, because it's going to proc this massive attack more, and it's going to proc Tooth and Claw more. And Tooth and Claw is just free raises and mauls that also apply a DR. So I mean, that just attack speed in general for Guardian Druid is very, very good. There's also a 6-second buff, so a very, very short duration buff. I'm guessing this is going to be a relatively high uptime, or relatively high proc rate rather. So we'll have to see how it actually works out, but that could be interesting. The other one here, massive attack increases your agility by 5%. Okay, that's good. And armor granted by Iron Fur by 20%. That's kind of irrelevant. The armor granted by Iron Fur, especially once you get late in the expansion, it's not super important. I mean, it can be nice if you're only going to maintain 1 to 2 stacks of Iron Fur consistently, that, hey, this one stack is 20% more, but armor diminishes very quickly in terms of value, especially as Guardian Druid when you can get so much of it. The other thing here, your first mangle after entering combat makes your next maul become a massive strike. So this is just guaranteed. If you're entering and exiting combat a lot, you're going to get massive attack off right at the beginning of a pull. Essentially, if you just walk in, you could mangle, raise, mangle, maul, whatever, and shoot out that massive attack initially. Nice for snap aggro. That's cool there. So I guess potentially this could be good in a Mythic Plus scenario, right? Because that's when you're going to get the benefit out of this specific talent. Whereas in Raid, obviously, you're only going to literally get it at the start of an encounter. But again, this one I think is still not to be underestimated, because just attack speed is now, like, Guardian Druid's a very, very good attack speed scaling class. I'm sure Guardian Druid in this spec, if you're just looking at next expansion, it's probably going to be a very good Wind Fury candidate if you're running Wind Fury, because of Tooth and Claw synergy, because of this massive attack ability. So that's kind of cool. Pack's Endurance, Stampeding Roar's duration increased by 25%. So Guardian and Feral are finally getting a little bit stronger Stampeding Roar again to give them something. It's not the best thing. I think this amounts to like a couple seconds, right? So it's not huge, but it's something. Moving down here, another choice node, Empowered Shapeshifting. So Frenzied Regen can be cast in cat form. Okay. So again, more synergy with this and tanking in cat form. Bear form reduces magic damage you take by 4%. Shred, swipe, and mangle damage increase by 5%. So I get another passive DR while in bear form as well. So that's cool. Wild Power Surge is the other option here, which for Guardian, it's Mangle grants feline potential. Okay. When you have 6 stacks of this, the next time you transform into cat form, you gain 5 combo points, and your next Ferocious Bite or Rip deals 50% increased damage for its duration. Okay. So here's where you would be swapping into cat form while tanking a boss, right? You want to maintain your rake, you want to maintain your rips. At least that's what you used to do. And so, you're in bear form, you build up an empowered rip, you swap, you send the empowered rip, you maybe send rake as well, and then that's not going to take you 6 seconds. You're going to maintain your entire defensiveness for that entire duration, because you're instantly going to 5 combo points. I really like that. That's cool. Obviously, you are giving up some cat form defensiveness if you ever need to actually Frenzy Regen in cat form. That doesn't seem huge. You're giving up 4% DR and 5% mangle, shred, swipe damage, but presumably, I'm sure empowered rips are probably more damage than this. So that's just cool too. Like I personally, as someone who really liked cat weaving, like back in like Sanctum of Domination and stuff, back when Convoke was really, really big, and you would like shift into cat form, rip your cat form, Convoke, apply your your rakes to rips, and whenever you weren't tanking, you would do your best to keep up all your dots on the boss. I personally found that really fun, so I'm really happy to see them bringing it back, and I think they've done a really good job. This is going to be a tangent, sorry, but choosing the thematic stuff for the Guardian Druid hero trees. A lot of people resonate with the Moonfire Bear stuff. A lot of people resonate with the Bleed stuff and cat weaving, and so I think they made a really good choice here, having those two be the kind of pillars for Guardian Druid going on in the expansion. So really, really cool to see that. Let's tangent over back to the talent tree. So Aggravate Wounds here for Guardian. Every maul, raise, mangle, thrash, or swipe you cast extends the duration of your dreadful wounds by up to 6 seconds. So presumably, again, this is going to be these are most of your GCDs. Actually, no, these are all your GCDs, right? Besides your cat form stuff. So, and I am kind of assuming here, like for example, I assume this is literally only going to work in feral spec, not cat form. That's my understanding here, right? So like Guardian Druids are going to get this potential. They're not going to also be able to gain Earthsign potential by doing cat weaving stuff, even though that could be interesting. I'm assuming that's the case. So this, you should be able to fully stack this up because you have 6 seconds to do it, which would mean that this dreadful wound is now 12 seconds of 5% TR, which I'm guessing you're going to be able to maintain 100% uptime on that then with this combined with that 12 seconds. And again, it's proc rate dependent, but you have to be procking this more than once every 12 seconds is my guess. So that is good for that. You're going to kind of get a passive 5% DR here against all damage types, which is nice. Moving down the right side here, the final choice node, Shred, Swipe, and Mangle's crit strike chance and crit strike damage increased by 8%. Okay, gives you a little bit more reason to get crit, I guess, to scale up that crit strike damage, but pretty underwhelming. Tear Down the Mighty. Cooldown of Pulverize is reduced by 5 seconds. So let's take a quick look at Pulverize here. All right, there it is. Boom. All right, so here it is, very bottom of the tree. It's a 45-second cooldown. It consumes 2 stacks of your thrash. It gives you a 35% DR for 10 seconds. I don't, unless they are changing Pulverize, I don't see why that's good. Because right now you avoid Pulverize like the plague, right? Like you can get it because you're taking Ursox Fury in a lot of cases. You know, previously you were taking Flashing Claws, especially with the Season 2 tier set and that stuff. Obviously the Moonfire stuff's over here. So like it's not like Pulverize is inaccessible entirely, but it is a capstone talent. It is somewhat hard to access because you have so many capstone talents. Similar problem to Lunar Beam, by the way, with Guardian of Elune. Very low in the tree, kind of hard to access. You have to invest a lot to get to it. And now we have another point. Again, this isn't the whole tree revolving around it, unlike Guardian of Elune. But I do wonder if they're going to make Pulverize and Lunar Beam a bit more accessible. Delete the Berserk nodes and put them up here, maybe. I don't know. That would be weird. That'd be interesting if they just move that there and move that there. So yeah, I mean, both of these seem not good, but because unless they change Pulverize, you're never going to use Pulverize. I've talked about Pulverize at length. I hate that it takes Thrash stacks. It's a very, very low uptime ability, which is fine. But it doesn't do a ton of damage. It's just not great in general, right? And it's only single target DR. It's only DR on the target you pulverize. It's not a flat DR, which is also kind of low value, right? So it needs some changes for sure to be worthwhile. But again, luckily it's not entirely around pulverize. It's just one talent there. But yeah, this choice node is not great for sure. The capstone talent here, Claw Rampage. During Berserk, and I assume Incarnation, Mangle, Swipe, and Thrash have a 25% chance to make your next Maul become a massive attack. Okay, so again, in Incarn, then you will be just massive attacking like crazy because you are going to be mangling and thrashing a ton, right? Just a ton. Again, though, because it's a synergy with Incarn, these two talents have been locked in for a while, right? And maybe, the Incarn Bear, not the Incarn Bear, sorry, the Guardian of Elune Bear. We talked about how potentially maybe they're going to move away from Incarn. Who knows with the strength of Lunar Beam and the duration. But this one, clearly, this capstone is all about you are going to be taking Incarn here. And there is, again, 2 more talents in the capstone area you need to take to make Incarn work on top of all the Berserk nodes we talked about, which, again, why aren't they one node? They're not that strong on their own. They're all very weak, actually. I'm not going to go on a Berserk tangent here, but yeah. So, a couple more talents in the capstone area required. But it's going to have good synergy, right? This is going to be very, very strong, I think, with Incarn. You're going to be ripping this like crazy, the massive attacks. Easy perma uptime on Dreadful Wound. Easy if you're running Ruthless Discretion, perma uptime on that. You're going to be mangling a ton. I do actually wonder then, because you're probably going to not want to swap into cat form for feline potential, even if you hit your max stacks when you're in Incarn, right? Because that's likely a DPS loss, right? Because you have so much more value to use and just stay in bear form to rip your mangles and your thrashes to try and get more massive attacks. Spending two or three globals, I think, to swap into cat form, rip, and then swap back into bear form and do something is probably not worth it in Incarn. But outside of it, it's probably good. But it means as soon as you're done Incarn, you'll be able to swap out, do it, and swap back, which is cool. But yeah, I do like the vibe of this tree. And like I said, I like the vibe of the Guardian of Elune one as well. It's nice, very, very distinct, different choices. There we have it, guys. Catweaving is back on the menu. I would love to know how you guys feel. How do you feel about catweaving? How do you feel about the arcane stuff? How do you feel about the choices for Guardian Druids going into the War Within? Let me know down in the comment below. And remember to subscribe to the channel for more War Within alpha content, just like this one. As always, I got to give a quick shout out to all of my amazing supporters over on my Patreon who help to make all of these videos possible. So thank you, and thanks to everyone watching right now. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next video.